What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Kev on stage, with the homie, the big homie, Big Irish J. Find the power. And this, as you probably know, is Ask a White Guy. Yeah. Big Irish J is the resident white guy. This question comes from Twitter. Jocelyn Sampson, why aren't white people ever cold?
It's so, you know, it's interesting, since I moved down here, I'm starting to notice it. Like, I just went to Seattle. I just got back yesterday, and I was in Seattle for like a week and a half, and I was like, oh, my body's changing. Like, I'm getting used to it. And then when I lived in Florida, my blood thinned out, and I went up to Boston. I was like, good Lord, it's cold. I think it's because most of the areas that white people come from are not tropical, you know? Like, Sweden, Germany, England, Ireland, Scotland.
Well done.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, so that's the only reason I can.
I had a friend in college next door to me. His name was Will. Never even wore pants. And mind you, in Seattle, it rained 75% of the time. Pants, never.
Yeah, that's
always shorts and sandals. Literally, the joke people make about white people, that was him.
And I was gonna say,
he was a big guy though, so maybe that's why he wasn't.
Well, that's I will say on that. It's fine if white people, if we don't get cold, but we don't need to like. It's not like we're trying to make a point. Like, yeah, I never understood that. It's snowing out and a guy will be wearing just flip-flops.
Or in the sports games, they have like the team's name and it's like 10 degrees below zero and they're like, yeah, bro!
Yeah, we're like, we get it, you're tough, you can handle the elements. Like, yeah, yeah. You don't need to make a point of that you're a tough guy in the cold.
Okay, next question from YouTube. Most of these are from YouTube. Thank you guys for asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
That keeps this segment going. So keep asking the question. Okay. In their prime, 70s sexy black woman, Jay, make your pick. Foxy Cleopatra Jones, I mean.
Alright.
Foxy Brown, a.k.a. Pam Grier. Jane Kennedy, Dorothy Dandridge, or Lena Horne. Who's the sexiest of them all?
Okay, if you're saying sexiest,
okay,
Pam Grier. Good Lord. Oh, dude, she was so thick, and she's just sexy. She is so fine. If you're talking just sex appeal, definitely. Like, Jane Kennedy, like one of the questions I think was, who would you marry?
Yeah, okay, so who's sexy?
Sexiest, Pam Grier, definitely. Mary, if you're talking, yeah, it's kind of like the marry kill, but without the kill. Sexiest, definitely Pam Grier, without a doubt. You know, if I was going to marry out of those, Lena Horne didn't really do anything for me in her prime. Not that I was around then, but Jane Kennedy was fine, but she did a sex tape.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring her home to mom and be like, hey, Mom, do you know Jane? Oh, yeah, I saw her in that video.
Yeah, I know. Where is it?
Yeah.
Is this you, right?
Yeah.
This is you. Okay.
Lena
Dorothy Dandridge and Cleopatra Jones.
Cleopatra Jones didn't really do much for me. It'd be between Pam and Dorothy, and if it's marriage, like, I think I said on the thing I'd go with Dorothy if you're talking marriage. Because she had, like, she was beautiful, and she also had, like, a sweet look to her.
Yeah.
So,
that's good for wives. Okay, why do most white people talk one way, but when a black person comes around, they switch it up? Really online have that.
That's, I think this kind of goes back to what we had talked about before about trying to assimilate or trying to, like,
I wanna be down.
Yeah. But at the same time too, I don't know, because I think it also happens when you hang out, it's kind of like maybe like an accent thing. Like if I started living in the South, you know, I mean, you've seen this.
Paul Wall.
Yeah.
Paul Wall sounds like any other black dude from Houston.
Yeah, like that's the thing, is if you go somewhere, I'm sure people where they move away to like Boston or New York or the South, and then they come back and you're like, talking funny. Right. They're like, what? You know, so I think maybe just that.
You hang with black people and you hang with other people too, but I don't think you sound black.
God,
you just sound like Jay.
I'm going to get a job at some point. Well, and that's the other thing too, the flip side of that is, you can say the white voice.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, I'd like a job. Hey, how's it going?
Okay, here's a good one. How do white people talk about black people when they're not around?
Yeah, I misread that. Somebody posted that on YouTube.
Yeah.
I got so defensive quick because I thought it said, why do white people? And I was like, same reason black people talk when white people are around. And then I never reread it and I was like, oh, oops, sorry. How do white people, you know, just speaking for me and my friends, it's not like like when I leave here, you know, like
let me tell you what this black guy did.
Dude, I was hanging out with Kev, black people. Like I wasn't. It doesn't really. It's nothing that comes up, you know. I think if something presents itself, then it'll be addressed for that specific.
So are they using black voices? Because I've heard like white comedians do black voices. It's always like, "Yo, dog," and I'm like, nobody talks like that outside of Randy Jackson.
Yeah, it's more like, "Say, man."
Nice callback, Jay. He's a working comedian.
Yeah, I don't. You know, and people may be like, "I don't believe that," but I don't.
It's true for you. These questions are Jay specific. He tries to answer for white people, but you know, it's only as specific as your life can be.
Yeah, it's not something that how do I talk about black people when black people are around the same I do when they're around, or the same I do about anybody else when.
And you're a comic too, which will make it. Yeah. All right, here's another one. Is it true that white people never use seasoning?
Irish food is known as being very bland.
Really?
Yeah. Are you talking about like Lowry's or Johnny's?
Nature seasoning.
Yeah.
Lowry's is synonymous with black people.
Yeah. I think that's was the question why?
Is it true?
Is it true? I think it's actually might be pretty
Here's
accurate.
the thing I noticed, okay? Even on cooking shows, and I think this like really helped my mind. White chefs, most of the time, they use their seasoning with the vegetables or the herbs and all. They use salt and pepper, but for the most part, they get their seasoning from herbs or fruit or whatever. We're going to use a little garlic, shallots. We're going to use a little paprika, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Black people, salt, Lowry's, you know, nature seasoning, you know.
And the other thing, too, is if you think about it, there's not, like if I said, okay, make a white meal, it's like, I mean, there's Italian, which will have seasoning, but like I guess what's known as English food or Irish food or Scottish is...
There's so many different white people.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one, Jay. This is the serious stuff.
Okay.
I just want you to talk to me about white privilege. Do you think it's a real thing?
Yeah, I think yes. Just the quick answer is yes. But then also like white privilege in the sense of like I definitely think well, I guess the first thing would be to define white privilege.
Yeah,
like how do you define it?
Okay, so I mean, there's probably a definition, a specific definition, but I just do it like, okay, here's a perfect example.
Yeah.
The Michael Dunn trial, right? He walks up to the black kid and tells him to turn his music down. Something in Michael Dunn lets me know that in public, not in my apartment complex, at a parking lot in you know 7-Eleven, I feel like I should be able to tell you to turn your music down and you should listen. And because I'm white, I feel like a black person, I don't think we would ever be like, turn your music down now because I think it's too loud. You know, so I think white privilege is like where white people get certain things are handed to them or easier for them without them even noticing, without them having to do anything extra.
That I agree. I agree with the second thing you said. Like I think definitely there, like we talked on the other video about your name. Like as a white name versus Kareem,
right?
I think stuff like that, yes, is a thing. As far as like Michael or a scenario of somebody walking up and saying, "Turn down the music" or whatever. I mean,
he's on the extreme of white.
Yeah. I mean, and plus, I mean, I know. I'm sure if I rolled into Compton playing Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah, I don't think people will be like, "Hey man, that's cool. Keep bumping that." Yeah,
better flag hanging out.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the kid was doing that, but
right.
Now the flip side of it is, it's not. I don't think white privilege is a thing like kind of like the old Eddie Murphy skit where he puts on white face and then he gets on the bus and the black guy gets off. They're like, "All right, it's party time!" Woo! Like, there's a comic, Kurt Metzger, that has a really funny bit about white privilege, where he's a comic, so he's mocking it, but he says he lives in a place in New York where he's literally the only white resident in his building, and he goes, "I moved into that building." I'm butchering the joke, but he's like, "I moved in, and do you know how lucky they are to have me there now?" He goes, "I got there was no hot water. So I called the landlord, and I gave him my full white name. And I was like, I'm white, and there's no hot water." You know, so I think, yes, there is certain things that definitely, I think white privilege is a thing. But then at the flip side of it, I don't think it's a there's certain things that I don't think it's as an extreme thing as some people think, where I'm like, like a cop pulls me over, I don't just go like, and he goes, "Oh, sorry, you had tinted windows. I didn't."
But you do feel safe arguing with the cop about being pulled over, or a black person would be like, if I argue, I feel like this could go very badly.
Sometimes, like I got pulled over in Seattle, and I was like, "Hello, sir." I put on the white voice. I was like, 10 and 2, yes. Oh, yes, insurance. I am so sorry. So,
did you get a ticket?
Yeah. The guy didn't care. Yeah. And like, yeah, somebody had mentioned, like, if I give my name or mention that my uncle's a cop, then I just get off, which has never happened. What happens is the cop. I'll be like, "Yeah, my uncle's Steve Hollingsworth, head of the gang task force," and the cop would be like, "Oh, okay, cool," and write it, and then he would tell my uncle, and so I'd get it twice. Yeah, so.
Oh, that's great. So this has been Ask a White Guy with Big Irish J. We have on Friday Ask a Crime Scene Investigator. A friend of mine is a CSI investigator.
Dude, can I come for that?
Absolutely. We're going to do it on Google Hangout, though.
Oh, okay.
Because he lives on the other side of the country. Yeah, so we want to do more stuff. Might do Ask an Atheist the same way on Google Hangout and then just post it. So ask questions for a crime scene investigator. He said there's a lot of misconceptions that the show has given you. So we want to talk about that. And we're going to take our music out by my guy, B. George Smith.
Wait, before you do, can I... What's up, everybody? It's Big Irish J. Come subscribe to my YouTube page.
There's the theme song. B. George Smith has a new single, and I want you guys to hear it. So check it out. Ask questions below for next week, and we'll see you next week for Big Irish J. I'm KevOnStage. Stay black and die. Or die.
Oh, jeez.
God's love changed me and turned my life around. So pure, so great, so strong.